All right. We saw Eastern Security Network take all over Southeast, and a lot of people are saying they thought Eastern Security Network is dead, but we see May 30, a lot of them took over, and some Fulani militias flee, and some Hausas, and even people were fleeing away, giving way for this Eastern Security Network people. And we are also seeing in the south here the likes of Amoteco and other security network trying to form shape. What does this thing? Is this not trying to trigger war or trying to trigger ethnic chaos in the country?
A lot of people are saying that it might result to clashes, trying to operate and dismantle the rampaging Islamic jihad, spreading within the ethnic regions, and thereby triggering a form of ethnic loyalty. And when we talk about ethnic loyalty, we're talking about people rising in support of their region, trying to defend their region from total collapse of their jihad that is gradually operating and infiltrating all the region. But thank God for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We thank God for a formidable Eastern Security Network, ESN. We also want to celebrate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for that foresight. We want to celebrate all the heroes and those who are part and parcel. You can see the amazing job that Eastern Security Network was able to do on May 30th, 2026, where anniversary of the fallen heroes of the Biafra struggle was remembered. What actually happened there amazes the entire world. Because we saw professionalism, we saw coordination, we saw intelligence, we saw training, we saw service to the people. Kudos to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu again for that, foresight. We also learned that, they have gradually identified political IDP camps within the Biafra land, and most of them goes into hiding. We are hearing that most of them are already fleeing the Biafra land as a result of the sophistication shown by the Eastern Security Network, trying to maintain an environment of law and order, and showing to the whole world that they have the capacity to protect Biafrans anywhere in the world, as long as the world will go in that direction.
All right. The Nigerian soldier released a statement that May 30th is not recognized an official day in the Nigerian calendar as a celebration, saying that no one should embark on that kind of celebration. And we see the Eastern Security Network coming out to mount a kind of brigade in that regard. Don't you see it's a sign of going against the Nigerian authorities?
It's the right sign of the Islamic, the Fulani jihadists who are trying to, take down what does not belong to them. Unfortunately, it was a very serious signal, and the ESN network, put that outstanding, resilient resistance as a presence that sent a serious signal to Aso Rock, and not in terms of war, not in terms of answer, but it's a clear documentation and sophistication that this is a clear work. This is a clear reference that Biafra has taken up the referendum. It's a clear sign of referendum in Biafra land. And what amazes everybody is that to that extent, ESN sent a very strong message that they are the ones that are truly in charge, and you can see the protection that goes along with the May 30th. Everywhere was peaceful. In fact, the global community and the world leaders have come to recognize this as the biggest celebrated Biafran day in the history of Biafra as a nation, as a country, as a sovereignty. This year marks the largest and the biggest celebration. From what we are hearing, Biafra Day was celebrated in all the major cities around the world on the 30th, remembering over 10.5 million children that was actually questioned, and remembering over 3 million Biafran soldiers who defended the Biafra land. And kudos again to Eastern Security Network for sending a very strong signal to the jihadists that Biafra land is no go area, irrespective of what the government of Nigeria want to do with it, or with them, or take to achieve it with them, that Biafra land can never be Islamized. Yes, and kudos to Mazin Nambekano in that regard.
All right, so as it stands, what is your own opinion concerning this Biafra that you talk about? What is your own opinion and what is your stand? Do you actually think Biafra can be actualized? Because the way it is going, the Nigerian government does not recognize Biafra. And in your own opinion, how do you think Biafra would be actualized?
Yes, that's like what people are already saying all over the world today. We don't need referendum to become a nation anymore. There has been a lot of documented referendum. You can see the total place everywhere was just locked down, including the bank, police station, army barracks, schools, institutions, government houses. Everywhere was locked down. And to the greatest surprise, Soludo was amazed that the entire Anambra state, Asaba, some parts of South were totally locked down, and that is what makes this year celebration, May 30th Biafra Day, one of the biggest and the largest, because it goes beyond Biafra land. And secondly, let me just tell you, we don't need the federal government to tell us whether we are gaining momentum on daily basis. The signs are very there, the reality is on ground. Look at what the Southwest have done already. They have also copied the Mazin Nambekano's ideology, about the Fulani agenda, about establishing Western Security Network. Just like we have Eastern Security Network, they have now named their own Western Security Network. You see, that's what we say at every point in time. The Igbo people are pace setters. We are not against anybody, but I can tell you that even Mike Arnold, to an extent, I don't want to agree with Mike Arnold because I always say it. There's no need of cohabiting with those who swore to destroy anything that has to do with Christianity in Nigeria. And what we are seeking for is recognition of Biafra as a sovereign nation. Outside that, we learned that more than 5,000 Fulani IDP camps operating as IDP camps. Yes, in the Biafra land, IDP camps operating as IDP camps, which are actually, Fulani Militia camps, was actually busted by ESN operating because they sent a strong signal that it is a Biafra Day and jihadists will never be tolerated in Biafra land. And that is what Mazin Nambekano stood for. And you can also hear about the Sokoto Declaration and what is happening around the world. Mazin Nambekano has been said, all those who are attacking Mazin Nambekano in one way or the other, get a very serious note that there's no amount of word you use against Mazin Nambekano, the people will reject it because he has become the global reference point of the Biafra question. Mazin Nambekano is the global reference point of the Biafra question. He merited it, he worked for it, and he has achieved it. Today, kudos to Biafra all over the world because we can see it that it is gaining momentum, it is spreading, the agenda is gaining momentum on daily basis, and that is because it is the resilience of the Biafran people and those who said no, we cannot continue to be in line with something that has come as a threat to the entire humanity. This is not 1967, I can tell you very clearly, and people can see that even people from Ghana are seeing it very clearly that Ojukwu acted very well and defended very well. We may have this similarities or approach, or perspective to the decision of Ojukwu at that time, but what it meant is that we now have an identity. Biafra was a rebirth was a rebirth in 30th May. Biafra has been existing before 30th, before Nigeria, but on 30th May, he gained a new rebirth through an German, Frank Opigo, who also suggested that this new nation become an ancient name called Biafra, and that was how the whole thing started. Until this moment, the world has continued to recognize and see that there is genuine solidarity, there is genuine agitation in Biafra struggle, and that is where we are today.
All right, what would you tell Biafrans? Because now a lot of people are saying, why not wait for the time of Peter Obi? If he eventually becomes the president, Peter Obi can actually integrate Biafra into Nigeria and continue this one Nigeria that will now be more inclusive instead of seeking for a separate nation, Biafra.
Peter Obi can be seen as uniting Nigeria, we shouldn't be having anything as Odua Republic. If Peter Obi is being seen as someone who can unite Nigeria, we shouldn't be seeing Middle Belt opting to move out from Nigeria. If Peter Obi is somebody is being seen as someone who is going to unify Nigeria, we shouldn't be talking about Biafra today. The problem is that Nigeria has been split since 2014. I can tell you that Nigeria should go their separate ways. Nigeria is not a one nation, and Nigeria can never be one. Whether Peter Obi become president or not, Peter Obi has less than 4 years. Remember that since for centuries now, according to Mike Arnold, the jihadist caliphate agenda has been in existence. So it's not about Peter Obi. Peter Obi has right to pursue whatever he wants to pursue, but the majority of the people is seeking actualization and restoration of Biafra as a sovereign nation. As a nation, should I say there was a country? We are only asking questions. What happened to that country? The country, what actually happened? And we discovered that it was a conspiracy to dismantle or to stop Biafra agitation, and impose jihad, and impose Islam, and impose confederate, and impose Sokoto Caliphate on the Biafran people because of crude oil, because of natural resources. So that the same natural resources, when they exploit it, they will not use it and fight the Western world, the Western civilization. And that is why we are saying that we cannot allow you to have resources of the Biafran land, because by the time you have it, you will not use it as a weapon to fight civilization, Western civilization. And that is why we are rejecting it. Peter Obi has less than 4 years to go, and outside that, we are saying that Peter Obi presidency has nothing to do with Biafran agitation. The Biafran people have rejected that jihadist agenda and the full occupation of jihad in Biafran land. We will not accept it, because their mission is already clear. Just like what Goho said, that our mission was to take the resources. What is the you taking the resources for? You take the resources and use it as a weapon to fight Western civilization, and we are saying no. And that's why we are calling on the Donald Trump, the Israeli government, to look at it very well. And to an extent, I disagree with Mike Arnold. There's nothing like constitution. Anybody that wants to do constitution, let that person do his own constitution in his own land.
So you are of the opinion now that you don't even need a regionalized government. All you just want is the Biafra independence.
Right, let me just tell you the consequences of it. It's the same infiltration. Because if you say region, because they are the one that when they took a broad confederation, they rejected it. They turned to war. Maybe we would have allowed this thing to spread, to escalate to this point where we are now. That it has become very clear. So, because the moment, the era now where we are now, regionalism can no longer work. And we have done referendum over and over and over and over and over again. So at this point, constitution does not matter anymore. What matters is that total disintegration of Nigeria. And that's what the Biafran people are asking for. Because at the end of the day, Christians in Nigeria, which are Biafrans, are going to bear the consequences. And we are saying no, that it's better we become a nation and defend ourselves than to be in one Nigeria and defend ourselves.
This is the point of
So finally, just in conclusion, what would you tell Biafrans concerning what happened in May 30 and what they should look forward to?
Yes, you can see that it was so loud. This is the loudest Biafran day in the history of Biafran celebration and anniversary. Trying to remember those who were armed on our behalf, those who carried stick on our behalf, those who run from one place to another on our behalf, those who defended the rising sun on our behalf. On May 30th, which was the day Ojukwu declared Biafra, after much consultation that had the Ijaw people, the Okoni people, the Igbo people, the Kalabari, the Efik, the Bibio, and the Anak people. Everybody within the old Eastern region were involved in that Eastern Union conference, where they suggested to do. If you look at it very well, Ojukwu said, I did what my people want me to do, and that's exactly what it was. Ojukwu consulted. Ojukwu was not a tyrant. Ojukwu was not someone who does not play according to the rules. He consulted the people. So all people came together and said, now we can no longer be part of this because Gowon have rejected the Aburi agreement. Therefore, for us to save our own lives, we need a separate nation, and that was how the rebirth of Biafra came into existence. So the message is very clear. Aluta continua. Aluta continua. The Biafra struggle continues. It took Israel 4,000 years to become a nation. We must pass this to our generations. There's no how we can keep quiet. No, if you know the kind of calamity, Biafra war was the worst genocide in the history of the whole world, where the entire world fought only a tribe, a minor tribe, a small tribe for 3 years plus. The whole world. But there they tested the ingenuity of the black people, of the Biafran people. And that is why we continue to, in solidarity of those who made us to speak the way we are speaking today. Because up to today, Nigeria have never answered the Biafran question. And that is why we are here asking the world to extend solidarity and recognize Biafra as a sovereign nation. Thank you.
Other person join.